blankets to the natives, and they did not realize until afterwards when somebody from the cultural center went up to them and said, "You know," and then they're like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Does nobody in your bank do optics?" Okay,
Nope. Nope.
I mean they were
No
in
one
Ooh.
does.
blankets.
It's because
I
this
mean,
country suppresses its own
they
history.
they do optics, and those optics are limited to Pinterest boards.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Also
don't get
true.
me wrong. There was not a single elder who
ChatGPT,
turned down
what's
a
a good
blanket.
gift to
You know?
give to a Native American?
You would need a microscope to appreciate how short-sighted those optics are.
Oh my god.
So, on the back of that, hello everyone, I'm AD Springer, also known as Corbinian. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour, and today we're playing another episode of Star Trek Frontiers, and, Frontier, sorry, my brain, I'm awake. Star Trek Return to the Frontier, apologies, and we are going to look into, I promise, probably, unless the GM's fooling me, we're going to look in on the USS Andromeda, unless we actually, in fact, look in on Harry Mudd. But
I
maybe.
think the ship is technically in the episode.
Technically, but I give it over to the GM.
We'll take the log then.
Oh, awesome. Of course, I just closed it. Commodore's
Born
log.
professional.
Commodore's log, stardate 2.2875.5. After a month at high warp, we have reached the planet Kadorn, a colony run by the United Mining Company. Hundreds of millions of years ago, the planet was an ocean world that was home to a wide diversity of marine life. Since that time, the planet's star has expanded as it nears the end of its life, boiling away the ocean and triggering a mass extinction that brought all native life forms from the planet to extinction. What was left behind is a dead world with a high variety of minerals, molecules, and matter that is, I am told, of great interest to paleontologists and pharmacologists alike. That is what brings us here. Dr. Tweer's research into the disease ravaging Kate points to a complex and highly reactive compound known as thallesite. He tells me is critical to the cure. I have brought us here so that he may test that hypothesis. A freighter named the SS Endurance will rendezvous with us shortly, bringing the volunteer patients for Dr. Tweer, and if trials are a success, take the thallesite back to Kate. The only thing complicating the situation is that while surrounded by the Federation, United Mining and its colony have staunchly refused membership in the Federation. Thus, I expect I will be forced to use all of my influence to ensure Tweer's work continues unimpeded. And we have 3 directives this episode. Negotiate the sale and/or transfer of 100,000 tons of thallesite, complete the research for the cure and conduct trials, and find out why the people of Kadorn don't want to join the Federation.
And heads up, you could pronounce it that way, or you could pronounce it thallesite.
Okay.
As in,
Well, that thallesite, I understand the reference now, but that's the Vulcan way of saying it.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it works.
You never admit mistake.
So we jump to the main office and company facility on Kadorn as party arrive, or the crew arrive. Imagine Inverni has been left in charge of the ship. I will take a reason check with your choice of discipline from each of you that you might use for obtain information about research you did before you got here. You
This
can
is the mining
suggest.
company headquarters.
Yes.
Okay, just sorry, I missed that part. Just too busy looking up Dune quotes.
Living the dream over there. All right.
Yeah.
I would like to make a insider reason command check to learn about the history of this company and its corporate practices on this planet.
Yeah, reason command.
Reason command. I'm gonna doubt I have a direct focus in this because I assume you'd want to focus on something like business.
Or, history.
Yeah, that too. 3 threat.
I would take cultural studies.
Oh, well, should have told me that before. Um,
Wouldn't have changed the outcome.
sure
Hey,
wouldn't.
this is a zero threat game apparently.
Oh no.
You didn't know how many of us were here.
This. You know what? I was sitting on the edge, but we're gonna commit. We started 30 minutes late, and we're still gonna finish this episode tonight.
All right.
Oh wow.
Which
bold.
means the future of Kate is gonna be decided. Which means it has to be 4 threat.
Okay.
You got a whole planet's population on the line.
Okay.
Also, probably maybe the penultimate or ultimate episode of season 3. So, I have commanded. We will end
All right.
without
So
going
that's
to midnight.
that is three
Oh,
momentum.
no, 4
and-
threat. 4 threat per player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I mean, you can take 4 threat total.
It's actually hyper easy. It's
Okay.
you
Things
guys
gotta
messed
be
this
bad
up.
now
This is
so
your own
that
fault.
you get back to your 1 and 2 threat episodes next season.
So I have 3 momentum and a complication.
Oh,
I'll let
and
the
you gave
complication
me 3
stand.
threat as well.
Yep.
Okay, complication stands. Okay.
I shouldn't have gone first because I have bold or I have cautious.
Yeah, well.
So you can ask one question without spending anything. That's just what you get for succeeding.
Okay. Okay. Ooh. What is the primary mineral that they mine here? Like what are the minerals that drove them to conduct mining operations on this planet?
I'll introduce your complication here.
Okay.
So you do see a wide and varied report of imports and exports through the Federation, so you're not really sure if there is anything important that they do with business with the Federation. There's so much that it's hard to track down whether anything's of primary importance.
Okay.
But it does seem that they send a lot of what the Federation might almost consider waste products from mining, like iron and copper, that are super cheap, super easy to get. A lot of things commonly available in crusts and asteroids to the Orion Syndicate.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, and I have 3
You
momentum
have
to
3
ask further
momentum.
questions.
You do.
All right. Another question. What is for how long have they controlled this planet?
I'll take that. the company and the colony were founded together, and they predate the Federation by 20 years.
Okay. Where did the colonists come from?
Earth.
Okay.
So that's that's another one.
Okay. And what say do the colonists have in governing the colony? Like, how is it governed?
There are no structures outside of the company.
So the company handles all political and governance matters.
Yeah, there is no
Okay.
overarching government or non-company entity.
Well, that was my 3 questions, so someone else is up.
Hmm.
The only query I might have is if my homeworld ever dealt with United Mining before. Like if it's a company name that I've heard of before or interacted with personally. Like, are they that expansive, or are they more like?
Reason. It's probably still Reason Command. I don't think you have a focus.
No.
So you can roll that.
Let's roll
how
it
you
flat.
want to. Okay. I'll actually give you a free hit for Incorruptible.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Because
that's not a good sign.
being incorruptible, you've been made very aware, maybe despite your own interests in corruption. You're more aware of it than someone who's not corrupt but just isn't, hasn't been faced with attempts at being corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
On your colony, you want had the opportunity, or you once needed to partake in the arrest of an individual, and they had committed a financial fraud, which meant that they weren't immediately arrested upon the revelation of their crime, right? They weren't arrested till after they had been found guilty. And they used that opportunity to jump planet. And you're pretty sure, at the time, you were pretty sure this is where they went from the tracking logs and the telemetry from system control. That's your free
hell.
information.
Arcana's with the RVMP.
I suppose a natural follow-up question would be: is their arrest warrant still active with Starfleet, if not with the Colonial Security Service? Or is it more like an extradition thing? Like my home colony wants them, and the Federation will go, well, you're in the Federation. If you were in the Federation, you're in trouble. But if you're outside of it, we don't care.
We'll answer that question as opposed to the first one. And take the momentum.
Sure.
There is no treaty of extradition. There's no legal cooperation of any kind between this world and any other world you're aware of.
Good to know. I'm gonna get dinged today.
Anyone else?
I've
So-
got an idea.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
Yeah, I would recommend everyone take their shot at asking questions because there's a lot we need to know.
I was going to ask if I could kind of run an analysis on their logistics and see if I can derive any information from that, really.
By logistics, we're confining this to spaceborne logistics.
Yeah, because I think that's what I'd be able to get information on.
Yeah, because it's going to turn this from command to con.
Yeah.
If you're trying to know like how their business works in general, that'd be command. But if you're focused
Just trying to know how their
specifically
ship
down on like how the movement of ships and material, I'll take con. So that'd be reason con. And I will take navigation.
Cool. What's the difficulty on this?
0. Right.
Cool.
You're trying to get momentum.
Got it. I'm just gonna roll flat then. Well, that. All right. I'm not burning determination this early.
So ask your question again.
I wanted to see if I could glean any useful information from their logistics setup.
Shipments with destinations outside of the Federation. And since this planet is surrounded by the Federation, that means everything not going into the Federation, right? Where they jump to a Federation planet and they say, hey, all of this cargo is passing through, so we're not. So, there's less inspection and duties and stuff. Versus the things that are going with an ultimate destination that is a Federation planet. If it's going outside the Federation, almost everything is in massive bulk carriers. Inside the Federation, there's a lot more that they do that relies on small ships with small or negligible cargo. Space. In fact, a good number of their active registered vessels operating with the Federation only have cargo space necessary for passenger transit, like the legal minimum the Federation puts in. You have to carry this much if you're going to carry people in space. You also find out that your requests into their traffic kind of were enough, and from one person that a diplomatic protocol was triggered where the Federation says like, hey, someone is researching you within the Federation.
Oh, okay.
Originally intended to, like, help researchers and stuff.
Right.
So I think that leaves Revere Tweer.
I got something that just occurred to me. I want to know what kind of lab facilities they might have here, whether medical or chemical.
That'll
Because
be reason. Reason connected with the type of lab you're interested in.
I'm figuring science, because that's honestly the kind of lab I think they're more likely to have than not.
Okay. You have a focus in chemistry.
Yes, I do.
You might also
Okay.
want to know about the what's available on the rock. But up to you.
Well, his research has already told him that he needs this mineral. Yeah. 2 momentum gain. And this kind of question you have to ask them directly before you arrive, and they respond that they have a limited amount of quality control facilities on Cadorn, but it doesn't represent their primary research facility.
Okay.
So you're pretty sure the Andromeda is going to be better suited to your needs.
Okay. All right. It was more wondering if, like, oh, they have industrial chemical lab because they're a mining company, that even if it's
If you're talking about production as opposed to research, that's different. I was going off of a research lab, not a active commercial lab.
Mhm.
I
I mean, I
believe
figured, I
that
figured
that
that,
is
I figured that, I mean, I figured they might be connected in that sense.
I would take an additional momentum to get an answer to this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they do have a wide amount of specialists producing different alloys and end products, right? Some of their trade is in bulk things that don't need to be
Hmm.
altered, or if anything, they just need to be separated from base material. But they do have extensive facilities with specialists who
Because
isolate and combine materials.
my line of logic is that in the process of my research, there might be some processes that if I can offload some of that process on a vast industrial system to which it would just be a drop in the bucket, like, that might speed up my research. Even if it's just some of the groundwork, like, even if it's just some of the foundational groundwork of prepping XYZ.
You could create a trait sometime about that, either now or in the future.
Okay, cool. That is basically what I need to know, and I will leave that momentum on the table.
Someone cares about Revere. There's a whole momentum there for you.
No. So yeah, did the doctor have any kind of sample of this thalassemite?
Oh no, not on hand.
Based on those records, Revere would have liked to do a little bit of looking into if it might be possible that this is something we could potentially replicate.
Reason engineering difficulty 0. You get a free
Tells you
hit from Replication Pioneer and another one from Innovative Engineer.
Okay, so I think I'll just roll flat.
And oh yeah, I remember. I was looking to see if you had a focus, but I remember saying that replicators still needed to be a separate focus for now. They're not widely adopted enough to be combined with transporters and synthesizers.
So
4 momentum gained. So no, the success rate on replication is only about 1%. Because of the volatile nature, which if you were trying to only replicate a kilo or so from a kilo, might be manageable. But for 100,000 tons, you estimate the full energy output of Earth for 2 weeks would be required, as well as more transporters than currently are in service in the fleet.
Fair enough, is worth looking into, because I have a feeling these people are going to be.
Yeah, you're on the extreme cutting edge of industrial replication. So far on the extreme edge that there's hardly an edge there.
Fair enough.
It could be useful in the hypothesis and testing phase, but even that would require a lot of effort, but not in the industrial phase.
Okay.
You gonna leave that momentum on the table, or any other questions?
Does it have to? It has to be related to my role, or is it just like I can spend some information for having looked into things?
In this instance, I'm inclined to let you ask outside the lines if everybody's already asked everything from your role. Like if you're content with what you've asked and everybody's done asking from their roles, I'm content to let y'all spend what remains real quick on additional.
Let me. Might be something more I want from my role. Can't really set up that kind of long-term advantage.
Oh yeah, this could be used to create advantages from what y'all learned, and this could kind of represent y'all in the briefing room, so you could spin towards kind of what other people were looking into, or
right.
something new.
I'm not exactly sure what traits we could make at this point, considering all we were doing was research.
The doctor's thing could be fired.
What was the doctor into? Sorry, I was just having a talk with my wife during his bit.
Oh, I see. Now, no, my thing I was wondering about was whether or not any of their industrial fabrication ability could be put towards some of my preliminary research work, because when you're doing research work, there's a bunch of like prep and material acquisition that you have to do, and any of that can be offloaded from the Andromeda's labs onto a industrial fabrication network would be good.
Yeah. So you wanted to. You already got the answers to those. You were looking for creating a trait to actually take advantage of it.
Yes, correct.
So that is something y'all could do with the. In fact, is that something you want to do?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea to spend 2 on.
Seems solid to me.
I would like to spend 1 on information spend of. Is there anything that
1
these
second.
people? Sorry. Oh, why am I apologizing? Gosh.
So that trait will be industrial isotope generation 1. There's a naturally occurring version of thalassite which has an isotope of fluorine in it, but other isotopes are possible. There are 2 other versions, and you're not sure on which of these 3 versions is going to be the best. So instead of just getting the naturally occurring version, you could have them prepare to samples of the industrially generated or industrially altered, let's say, versions.
So one of my questions would be, is there anything that this outpost of United Mining needs that, like, in the way of technical expertise, assistance, engineering, science, whatever, that we could provide either to make them more cooperative or perhaps to, work into the price for whatever they're going to charge us? Something they're needing that we could supply.
They have an outstanding request that has been denied by the Federation before, but they still maintain diplomatically of a request for weaponry. Right now, they rely for self-defense on imported disruptors, and they have an interest in non-lethal weapons, but so far the council has refused to authorize weapon sales. Why that matters is because as a priority 1 order, Solaris has leeway that brings that back onto the table in a way that's not normally on the table for diplomatic
Jesus
negotiation.
Christ. Okay.
Are we talking like hand weapons or like planetary defense? Okay.
No, we're talking personnel weapons.
Oh my God, the phasers for vaccines. Okay.
Well, I
It's
mean,
obviously not the only
might,
option. That is the one that is if you're looking at equipment, that's top of the list because it's the one you can just look up in the computer what they've asked for.
well, I mean, and honestly, if they have phasers, at least they have a non-lethal option, not so much with disruptors.
Could I attempt to spend to create a trait that I know of a particular mineral or commercial good that Nalhar 4 offers that I know is very valuable? Like it's something I know as a local. It's like, well, actually, there's this thing that a lot of people like, just not a ton of people know we have it. And this might be of commercial use to a company like United Mining, because we're a mining colony as well. So, although we're not corporate owned anymore. Maybe not nearly as valuable as phasers, but it's better than it is a less enticing alternative that we could possibly offer to them. Whether or not they'll go for it, I don't know.
I offer two options. One is a good that represents a mining product of low value but extreme importance in industrial matters. Kind of like coal or something. It's like not that expensive for like if you just want to have a piece of it, but like it has value because it's needed in so many different types of power generation, right? Something along that line, or something that, while not illegal, has obvious uses for abuse that might be interested in, which might not be to suggest that you actually want to go through on that deal, but for it to be a
I would lean more into the first, especially with the
leverage.
incorruptible trait in mind. It's like, I don't even want to float that in front of the captain. Even if I know about it, I'm not saying anything.
Well, I brought it up. I knowing you have incorruptible. I only brought it up as you might think of it as bait in an investigation, right?
Oh, that
If
guy,
they're
I'm just gonna
interested in this. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying for that guy, I'm just gonna straight up threaten him. That's a personal thing. I'm not gonna.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in negotiations. Right, you
Oh,
may be able to learn something if they're interested in the illegal option. Even if you don't want to offer it, you knowing that it's available and having it on the table might open opportunities, even if you know that you would never actually do the deal. That's why I brought it up, because I know as having incorruptible, you're obviously not going to try to do that, like go through on the deal.
I'm gonna leave that Pandora's box closed because I know that I'm incorruptible. I don't know that my captain is. So she is a nice lady and she's done good, but push comes to shove, priority one might take priority, and I'm not gonna give her that temptation. Especially when millions of lives are on the line. She is Vulcan, so she might compartmentalize. But yes, more the industrial option than anything. Like we make a lot of deuterium or something like that. It's like that's useful. We can make a ton of
it. There are there's a planet in your system, uninhabited, but within its crust, due to a quirk of geological creation, it has pockets of pure argon that aren't too difficult to get to. So if you want to have elemental argon for an industrial process, it's highly convenient if you can just ship it rather than having to use an industrial process to separate it from things.
Yeah, I'll totally take that. It lines up with Artana's just mining background. It's like, well, I may not be a miner, but I lived on a mining planet, so of course I know about that. Always wanted to find a way to sell that off, just,
Then I guess I'll double check. Is this the team that goes down to the planet?
I owe you 3 threat to get a personal shield.
Okay. I definitely will say that is an escalation.
Medical Doctor Man, do you want to bring a corpsman with you?
Do you think I need one?
I mean, up to you. You're the one who's researching the cure.
Be down on the planet or up on the ship?
We're talking about being down on the planet right now.
Okay. I think I'll just go myself for now.
All right, then we can start.
Yeah, because we don't need
Have there
security
been
quite
any?
yet.
Okay.
Are there any Caitians working here, and have there been any reports of plague-like symptoms here?
You happen to be out of momentum.
Ah. Well,
That sounds like a highly important question that could have been asked at one point. Uh,
well, can I get an environmental suit then?
Cost 2.
You could. Though I will point out whether or not there is any on this planet, you do not know, but you also do know that Cade itself was isolated, and this is not a Federation world that has a lot of common traffic with Federation citizens.
They told me this was settled from Earth in 20 years before the Federation, so I'm going to guess it's almost all human or entirely human. That was my takeaway.
But it's up to you.
Not the worst idea if you're at all worried about exposure, because the exposure ship is on the loose.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. So yeah, I'll give you 2.
Okay.
Or could I roll to have that advantage rather than spending threat?
I mean, equipment is always generally spent for rather than
Yeah,
rolled
fair
for.
enough. Fair enough.
All right.
Yeah, that's better.
It's a psionic plague. Who knows if an Eva suit will do anything?
Yeah, it's better than nothing. That's for
well,
sure.
you do know it is induced via a virus. It's not the plague itself is not psionically transmitted. What it does is it lowers a Caitian's ability to naturally resist psionic influence. Which brings up a good point. I was going to say another thing, a free thing you learn is just before you come down, you pick up a news transmission from the Federation that the Council of Nations on Kate has decided to temporarily dissolve itself and grant emergency governance to the Federation Council and Starfleet. And the justification given was that the mere presence of a duly elected member from Vulcan who just happens to live on Kate and has, been popular with Vulcan expats who live on Kate, their mere presence was influencing the ideas and decisions of the Caitians on the council. So they dissolved themselves because
Right.
governing has become impossible. Anyways, an hour and a half in, we start, we land, we go.
Well, one more
Yeah,
thing.
we're definitely wrapping up before midnight.
So, as you arrive, a woman approaches you. She says, Commodore, I hope your trip down from orbit was easy as she extends her hand.
Our trip here has been exactly as expected. And, she's interacted with humans long enough to understand how to dispense with a handshake.
She says, we've spoken briefly before, but just to remind you, I'm Vice Executive Edith Winters. And I will show you to Executive Tagar.
Okay. So that's Vice Executive Winters and Exec
Edith Winters.
Agar?
She used to work
Tagar.
for Vogue.
Togar?
Tagar. Tagar.
Tagar, great.
His legs are made of springs. Nobody really.
I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you what that meant for $1 million.
100-acre wood. Tigger? Has Tigger been forgotten?
Oh
This is
no.
the darkest timeline.
It went public
What are you
domain, so people
talking
stopped caring
about?
about it. Winnie the Pooh?
You shut your mouth, you blue-nosed cod choker.
Oh, okay. If you
Hmm.
said Winnie the Pooh, I would have picked it up sooner.
Someone doesn't know their lore.
Anyways,
Shows you to a conference room. And she says, Commodore, this is Executive Tagar, and you see a Vulcan male.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
he does the salute and says, live long and prosper.
He returns it, says, and to you peace and long life. And then he says, Executive Winters has made me aware of your large order. And I wanted to speak with you personally about arranging its delivery and what we could do to facilitate a deal.
Yes. Well, I must say, our ship did not come here out of a passing curiosity in a local mineral complex, but rather urgent need. We have reason to believe, well, my doctor is working on a cure for the plague outbreak on Kate. I assume you have heard of it. And he believes that this mineral that this mineral may be used in the synthesizing of a cure. If we can receive some samples for him to confirm this hypothesis, then a full order to synthesize enough cure for the entire planet would be in order.
He says, that would be a reasonable first step. Executive Winters could show your doctor and any personnel he needs to assist him to the central quality site for site number 10. There he can examine the samples and the process used in their generation.
Dr. Tweer, you may proceed. Contact me if you require any further assistance.
Understood.
Winters will motion for you to follow her. Is anyone going with the doctor?
Just on the off chance that anything happens, I would recommend at least
Yeah,
one of
I'll
the other three volunteer to go with. Okay.
accompany the doctor.
Okay.
She says, as she leads you to the main corridor, Dr. Tweer, and she kind of looks at Griffin.
Oh, sorry. Specialist Griffin?
She says, and Specialist Griffin. We take great effort to ensure the mines, at least the area of the mines that are not actively being mined, are sealed, and these elevators will take you down. Transportation through a planet's surface is not feasible. So you should find that the elevators are fast and convenient, and you won't need any extra breathing equipment unless you need to go to the active mining perimeter. And she shows you how to get into the small elevators. One of the office workers comes in and types on the controls, and with a loud hydraulic actuation, y'all are sent flying down into the planet's surface, comfortable thanks to anti-gravity plating. And new scene. The two of you arrive in a large carved out area where some equipment has been set up for testing material that's coming back from the areas that are being actively mined. And the vice executive says, do watch out. There is active work going on down here, but I think, Doctor, you'll find that it is generally safe and efficient work. And she brings you over to a woman, and she says, Doctor, this is our lead digger in this area, Hasna. she is running the project to extract your samples with a gruff and kind of roughly spoken hello. Hansa then says, we've got 5 kilos for you as a sample for each of the combinations you requested.
Very good.
She says,
May I take a look?
She says, yeah, you can check the quality on this computer here. Leads you to the computer.
Very good.
And she says, so, what are y'all looking for this kind of material for? This is the first time we've ever been asked to mine this stuff.
We have determined that it may have pharmacological properties that will aid in treating a newly emergent disease.
Is the doctor pretty easy to read right now, or are you trying to limit how much you're talking?
He's not trying to hold too much back.
Then she says, is the outbreak pretty bad?
Yes, it is.
Oh, then this is critical. You'll be wanting results fast.
Indeed.
Well, I'll mention it to the crews. They might get you everything you need a few days earlier if everything checks out. And then you can give me reason science difficulty 3, and I'll accept chemistry.
Cool.
While they're doing that, the vice executive generally just tries to make small talk, answering any questions and about the mines and asking questions about the Andromeda and Starfleet and the Federation. Griffin.
Sorry, I zoned out for the last like 30 seconds.
Oh my god.
4
Well.
momentum gained. Or sorry, 1
One
momentum
momentum gain.
gained. Yeah.
Jeez.
I said, Griffin. I said that Winters was asking you, or was engaging in small talk, answering any questions about the mines and asking some about the Andromeda, Starfleet, the Federation, and so forth. You, things like that.
Yeah. Griffin would be pretty, open, but not super specific, because she's not an officer. It's not her place to be making huge revelations or anything.
I will take an opposed roll from you.
All right.
as she asks some questions in a roundabout way. She will use a personal threat. Oh, sorry, not control command. Sorry, that was supposed to be
She
present.
still rolled a 4, a 9, and a 1.
That was supposed to be presence command, which would not have changed the outcome. Oh, sorry, you should have rolled first because you're the defender.
Oh, yeah, I should have.
I'll re-roll that.
Let's see, presence command, you say?
Yes.
Wow. All right. I definitely don't have a focus. You probably won't have to spend as much resources, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, if you hadn't already mentioned that you were kind of watching out for speaking too much, I would have brought Brazen in, but
yeah.
Some people understand how not to share tons of classified information for free.
Yeah, some people. Griffin's not often one of those people, but sometimes she can be. All right, I will. Is there a direct that helps me at all here?
Oh wow, that critical, huh?
I'm rolling a 9 here.
That sounds like a concern.
Yeah.
I would classify this under the third directive.
Yeah, I was looking at the third directive. I was like, maybe. Okay, yeah.
Yep,
I'll
could
spend...
come up, especially if you're the one who prevails.
Cool. I will spend determination towards that. Generate a momentum. Retain the determination.
Okay.
Spend determination to generate 4 momentum towards the same mission directive.
Okay.
Retain momentum. Retain determination.
Okay.
And then I'm going to buy up to 4 dice here. So, full net.
With momentum, I presume?
Yep, with the momentum I generated.
Roger.
That's the idea. Sorry,
Yeah, if you got any of the talents that allow multiple benefits from determination and veteran, that's pretty big. Like a Cardassian sergeant has got to be the most determination heavy person in existence.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to go to out-determine a Cardassian sergeant. He could probably kick my ass.
Uh-huh.
I mean, most Cardassians are like higher enlisteds that we've ever seen just existed to get their ass kicked. So I don't know about that.
Yeah,
It's like the
that
Worf
was kind of
problem,
my
but if
build.
Worf never won at all.
Kind of my build on the Romulan. I had I had veteran plus, and it's just by the means.
3 momentum gained.
Woohoo!
Sorry, I rolled the wrong thing again. It would not have changed the outcome.
Great discipline, at least.
She is trying to subtly understand whether you or your any of the officers negotiating for your ship are interested in anything that usually you can't get within the Federation. But she's not asking outright. She's just mentioning like a couple of, luxury items she's had before. and places she's been and things like that. It's like a thing you don't normally get to do as part of Starfleet. Right, she's been to Kronos.
Mhm.
Just a lot of things like that, trying to test the waters if you're interested, or if that's something any of the officers negotiating on your behalf would be interested in.
Yeah,
Um,
I think Griffin's kind of gonna be playing dumb here. Just like, going to, answer with some anecdotes that are, declassified about her time in the Klingon War. When, Cronus comes up, she's gonna talk about her life growing up on Archer 4, when luxuries are brought up.
okay. She seems to get a little annoyed, but keeps up the conversation for appearances.
Mhm.
And then Hasnut will say, there, the computer has determined it, Doctor. The samples are equal to your request.
Very good.
As she removes the container from the computer, you get a quick glimpse of a tattoo on her wrist. And I'll take insight, medicine, or science,
I'll take
or
medicine.
security.
Medicine.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Go for security. You can do it. We believe in you.
What's the difficulty?
3.
3? I'm gonna spend a momentum on this.
I tried, GM. I was trying to help you out.
That looks like the kind of tattoo that's used for machine scanners, not decorative. Like you've used those on
Like lab animals?
on lab animals.
Let's see. As I'm going, do we have may I see these boxes? May I see these samples?
She has the containers in her hand that she just removed from the computer. Yeah, she'll hand them to you.
If I may, and he'd like to take out his tricorder and start giving them a scan over, but also see if he can't get a scan on that tattoo and see if he can't read whatever data is supposed to be on it.
All right. Then I will give to you an insight science, and you could spend momentum gained to ask questions about the tattoo, but get free questions about the material, or you could do insight security, get your question about the tattoo, and then have momentum to spend about the material.
I think I'll do the science.
Okay. At the same time, Griffin, I will take insight security difficulty 4.
All right. Do I have a focus?
This is about to go so badly. I'm gonna spend a momentum. You said difficulty 3.
No, 2.
2.
If I did, I was wrong. 2. Yeah, 2 for you, 4 for Griffin.
Cool.
Griffin, in this case, I will
And I get it.
accept survival.
I get the
Cool.
momentum back.
Wonderful.
So from a science perspective, the samples are secure in the containers, and you see no risk on returning with them to the ship.
All right, and now this inside security role. Inside security seems important. I'm just gonna look at our mission directors real quick again.
And you might want to spend that momentum doctor to answer your other question.
Yes. Yes. Please and thank.
I will describe it after we finish Griffin's rule.
Yeah. I guess, is there a relevant directive that I can spend towards here? Since I don't know exactly what I'm looking for.
Third one, maybe?
All 3 of them are in jeopardy if you fail,
All right.
but you don't know that, right? So I justify why you could and then say you can't because you don't
Got it,
know
yeah.
what the risk is yet. So none of those things could be driving you.
Well, then I'd like to spend.
I would take your second value easily.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to do. I'm checking to see if I have a callback for it real quick.
Easy to the last episode of The Life of Dunmox the Lethal.
Yeah.
In for more reason than one.
Fun. Okay. Cool. Then I will call back there and spend that determination towards logic's the beginning of wisdom, not the end.
All right, and you
Generate a
gain-
momentum.
and a point of determination.
Yeah. And also we see if I keep my current point of determination. I don't. It's a good thing I got a new one.
I was about to say you are determination. You are determined, one might say, this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. 6, 4. I will spend the 2 momentum we have on the table.
And that
Plus
train you were on last week was nuts.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have 1 momentum on my record.
We generated another one because I spent a point of determination.
Because they're human.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Mhm.
Boop, boop.
So I'm rolling 3 dice here. All right,
1
that's
momentum
5 hits.
gained.
Gain 1 back.
1 up once I get back. I have to refresh.
So as the doctor is finishing up grabbing the materials, you are kind of getting bored with this kind of conversation with Winters, and your eyes are kind of just drifting and looking around. And that's when you know these there were people wearing these uniforms upstairs, and they had security implements. They had disruptors on their belts, and what looked like communicators and an equipment pouch and stuff like that. But these other people who've been working around the area, you didn't see any of them during your transfer down to the planet or in the office above, anyone wearing their uniforms doing any kind of security work. But this guy has a disruptor under his shirt, and hang on, so does this guy. And this guy, actually, there's a lot of people in this room who aren't wearing security uniforms who have disruptors at the moment.
And mustaches.
That's when this turns into an action scene as Doctor, you look up to see a disruptor pointed at you. And Griffin, you've noticed enough to take the to describe what you do first, as it looks like the people here are trying to arrest or take control of. No one starts shooting, but you do. People start drawing and demanding things. But
Are they
you saw what's coming. So
are
you
they
might be
working in
back.
conjunction with each other, or is there a
That was why this was so high. This totally looks like something that's pre-planned. This did not just happen.
Reasons why
Okay.
their security didn't catch it.
right? Yeah. Are these people moving against the security who we're aware of? Is my question.
They're moving against everyone who's not them.
Okay. Let's see. Based off of what's the material condition of these people? If I could spend a question on that potentially.
They look like they are in work attire. It wouldn't be seen out. They could a slight change of coloration in their gear, and they could be engineers who just got off of a 3-day shift trying to save a ship from blowing up. They have that kind of look to them, like they're covered in all kinds of materials and gunk, and they've
They look
got
overworked.
sturdy but somewhat damaged uniforms. Not really out of place for such a heavy industrial site.
Mm-hmm.
But not on the cutting edge. Like, it's not, Starfleet at the best of times kind of engineering equipment.
Right. I think because Griffin's had a weird vibe about the people in power here, what she's trying to get an eye for is does this look like a revolt?
Almost certainly not gonna be able to answer those questions, is you have noticed people drawing disruptors and have time to do something before the person closest to you kind of starts looking at you, but not so much time as to ponder about the politics of the world.
Then Griffin is going to try to sprint to the doctor and get him into cover.
I would ask to what purpose, as the doctor is already being drawn on.
The idea would be so that there's cover between him and the person who's drawing on him. Basically, like tackling him into cover. Unless that's completely.
Okay, I'll rephrase it this way. I see the utility of doing that, just that I don't see where you'd go after that if you're just trying to avoid him getting shot right now, then that makes total sense.
No,
if you were trying to like turn
right
that into an
now.
escape, I don't see how
No.
that's possible.
No, absolutely not. You think Griffin
Okay.
thinks these things that far ahead?
All right. Give me fitness, security, difficulty, 0 because of brazen.
All right.
As they do that, Doctor, I will answer your question about the tattoo, because you're totally unaware of the situation happening around you.
Typical bird banes, am I right?
So, Doctor, your scanner takes a few seconds to understand the tattoo, and compare it to examples. Decoded, the tattoo reads name, Hasna, occupation, lead digger, compensation, known infractions, and it lists reason for arrival at colony, child of previous employees. And that's when you look up to see her pointing a disruptor at you. And Griffin blindsides you.
Ah!
I would take
Actually,
hand to hand for this.
Oh, cock.
yeah, I was gonna say actually, I'm like,
Yeah.
There's a good scene from this in the D&D movie. This exact thing, twice.
At least you're not being defenestrated, so.
Not yet.
You're underground. I will challenge you to attempt to do that here.
Yeah.
I'll find a
You could be
window.
refenestrated, maybe, but yeah, it's hard to start a Czech style religious revolution in this room.
Damn.
we'll figure it out. We'll do it.
3 momentum gained as you tackle Tuir over the computer console. A second later, you find the urge to peek out as you don't hear any shooting, just shouting. And you see someone pointing a disruptor towards you. And you see all the personnel gathered up. Is there anything you'd like to do with that momentum?
Sob quietly. Consider taking
Doctor, you got
advantage.
any ideas? I'm kind of
Yeah,
not.
I mean, there's
thinking.
always the swift task call for a beam out.
Remember, we had you guys had a whole thing about beaming down there. That's what
Yeah,
the
we
special
can't
elevators are
beam
for.
out.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
You may want to see if you spot like a good escape route or a line of escape for yourself to get to the elevator. Because I'm not necessarily sure what here is the elevator, which way is the way to the
elevator's
elevator.
here?
Oh,
Okay.
y'all came through this this shaft. The elevators are further up here, down at the bottom. The other exits are to different parts of the mine that you've never been to, but it's down
Okay.
here.
Which one is it again? I didn't see it myself.
The
Oh, this one.
bottom
Gotcha.
right. Yeah.
Well, we could run in and behind all this junk.
We could, yeah. What are the people who are shouting saying, if it's at all intelligible?
Yeah. So Hasna had ordered this guy to watch y'all, and has been directing these people, and these people have been jeering at the security and Winters as they hand over their weapons. And there's some back and forth about it's not, violence isn't necessary. The company's always willing to hear grievances. And more jeering from the people with disruptors.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, like Griffin's going to look to the doctor here for guidance, probably. But
He is the superior officer.
Yep.
yeah, he's the superior officer by a mile.
Uh-huh.
She just happened to have, some tactical insight in the moment.
Oh, I have a thought. So do I still have the box with the stuff in it?
Yep.
He shoves the box into her hands and just says, "Run."
All right. So with task run accepted.
All right. Fitness con. Because of all this stuff here, you're going to need at least 2 momentum. So difficulty 0, but you're going to need at least 2 momentum.
All right. Free running.
Brazen will also work here for you.
Cool.
So you have 2 momentum. Yes, free running will work as a focus.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to roll, so.
Complication still.
Mm-hmm. So brazen.
And there's another
Yep. Generate 4, spend 2.
2 to get past this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This guy is gonna shout. One of them's running.
Running.
I don't know how useful this, but you can fly. So can you use that to circumvent the need to get to an elevator?
No, he's like a mile underground. He still has to
Okay.
travel the same mine shafts.
I mean, I think he could probably fly a mile if a human can run a mile.
Sure,
Yeah,
but
but
why is
not
it any
straight
different from
up.
run? Like how has flying changed the
Well,
situation from
I
running?
mean, it means he can immediately start running away from the group as opposed to having to run to the elevator first, I guess.
The
I'm not
elevator's the way
sure.
out.
No, because yeah, he had the path to get to the elevator is the same if you're flying or running. The only
Okay.
difference is whether you're on the ground or you're 1.5 meters above the ground.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I was just thinking out loud, trying to help.
The best. All right.
So he is
do I need to
going.
spend any more to gain additional zones, or
Not a thing.
possible?
No.
Okay.
But I think honestly, if he flew that distance, he wouldn't have to make the sprint rolls.
He's not the
Possibly.
one running.
But I'm
Right. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, that. Oh yeah, we'll have to.
Well, yeah, because you could roll. You could like sprint. Theoretically, you could sprint and not have to spend to go past the terrain. Because there's no roll otherwise if there's no difficult terrain or hazardous terrain. It's just you move to long range.
Disruptors are only deadly, so I'm gonna do this. So you're in a different zone.
Pardon me, sorry.
This guy's going to shoot a disruptor at you.
well. Saw this one coming.
Well, phooey.
Luckily for you, he is only got a security 1 because he's not trained for this. Unlucky for you, sometimes you roll a 1.
Yeah. Can I try and dive for cover?
Also not a thing. The thing is, if
Wait.
you can ask if cover is in the scene, and if it is, it is possible to get some cover. I just need to double check the exact.
If there is cover that you qualify for, then you could say you can turn it into an opposed task.
Mhm.
But I doubt she'd be able to counterattack. She's just avoid just
No.
making instead of because otherwise it's a difficulty 2 task to just biff you. But if
That
if
is
it's,
correct. We would ignore the roll I just made because we would have to determine this
I'd have to
before
set
I
difficulty
roll.
first, yeah.
So there is cover.
because it's probably like this stuff that's in the way. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct. There is
Awesome.
cover.
I would like to oppose this.
Okay. Well, that's made this a lot harder.
Yeah. Daring Khan to run between the disruptor bolts.
Does it give a
Control security is the default.
Which I can.
as an
roll.
opposed?
Yep.
If you want the option to return fire, I'd stick with control security. If you forgo your right to ask for a return shot, I would accept fitness security.
I'll stick with control security. It's
You
a much better role for me.
Keep telling you doing laps with me around the ship would be good for you, but no one ever listens to the former security officer.
You're the defender.
Correct.
You roll first.
Yep.
Oh, and I'm gonna refund myself.
Yeah, but you just have to
for-
do so many laps.
It's only
mhm,
100.
Such a
It's
small
not that
ship.
bad.
So many laps, really.
I'm not
I'm
making
going
you do the ladders.
to spend 3 momentum to roll 4 dice.
1, 2, and
With
3.
a focus in small arms.
I'll take that. Yep. Oh wow.
Difficulty 5.
He only has to hit 5. That's any comfort, GM.
True. True. Oh, look, I rolled a 1.
For some reason I have Katamari Damacy in my head. Don't ask me why. Prince of the Universe rolls in and starts rolling up all the people in the boxes. I don't know.
I will buy at least one so that it is theoretically possible.
Mm-hmm.
As only rolling 2 dice would make this an automatic failure.
Spending for deadly as well?
Yes. You gain 4 momentum, and the shot hits a cave wall. And a momentum to notice something before you counterfire, or you can counterfire.
Momentum to notice something.
You can see that Hasnas is turning towards him and grabbing his shoulder. You've seen, you've been in that position where, like when you were fighting off those beasts on in the Vindar system, where like an officer's taking control and like stopping someone who's acting outside their responsibility. So you don't think you don't think they're all about to turn and open fire on you.
All right.
You think he shot of his own interest and he's probably about to be stopped.
Cool. I will not return fire then.
You are free to escape at this point though, because they
Bro.
don't intend to return fire. Is that what you do?
Yes. The doctor's able to handle everything else here. He told me as much by telling me to get out of here. I'm obeying my orders.
Okay. What about you, Doctor? There's a little bit of confusion as Hasna turns back to him and says, "This isn't about them. Don't make this more difficult."
Ooh. Doc, you might have the opportunity to negotiate.
Yeah, in which Dr. Tweer will pop out and say, "Listen, there's no need for further violence."
Hasna turns back towards him and towards Dr. Tweer and says, "Well, I correct myself. We don't need her. The doctor here, I think, is going to be highly valuable."
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
And as we end this scene, Griffin, you run back towards the elevators. Give me daring engineering as you have to figure out the controls and quickly throw yourself into an elevator as the normal elevator operators are currently in a disruptor battle with some security personnel down a hallway.
Hey. All right. Daring engineering. It's not too bad. Definitely don't have a focus here. I'll spend 1 momentum. Yeah. Rolling 3. Well. Guess I'm fussing with controls.
I will spend 4 to cause a reversal.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunately, that costs 2. Or no, I'm just kidding. Wrong character.
Yeah, you're not here. You can't do that to me.
That was very good.
Talsiar's reach is not this far, unfortunately. Otherwise, this would have been resolved.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Give it time.
The Empire has
Uh,
ways to
it
deal with the
resolved.
labor relations.
I'm sure they do.
By all dying.
You
Re-education.
are struggling to understand their language because translator's not going to help you with keypads. to figure out what you need to do. And the disruptor fire gets close enough that you just throw the thing that looks like a manual override and jump
Alright.
in the elevator. And as you do, you see a warning on the panel inside the elevator. Security override engaged. All elevators returning to surface.
Well, that's an issue.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Oh man.
she's gonna start pulling out her communicator as she sees that.
And that's when we'll jump to a new scene.
Mhm.
Counted for the momentum loss already.
Oh man. I'm doing great, guys.
We go back in
Oh
time
yeah.
a little bit.
Everything's fine up here, guys.
Down here. For a bird, I
No,
think
no.
up and down.
No, I'm talking about the fact that we're now up here in this scene where everything is fine.
I mean,
Nothing is
stink
nothing's
rises, you
gone
see,
wrong.
especially in capitalist conglomerates.
Y'all are engaging in some pleasantries with Tagar before returning to the ship, since you'll want to hear back from the doctor before continuing further negotiations.
Okay.
When a Klingon starts walking in, the executive.
She pauses and says, "It was somewhat surprising, but not entirely out of the ordinary for a Vulcan to be working here. But you have Klingon employees as well?"
I believe that's an
Actually,
officer, Captain.
all three of you recognize her.
Oh, okay.
As Vina, the house of Head Dator, the Zhou of Zhou Dator, that is. Apparently now a colonel and ambassador.
Yeah, okay. Then scratch what I said. Then she's just going to pause and say, what is her relation to you, executive?"
The executive says, I see that you know the ambassador.
Pleasure to see
We
you
have had
again.
encounters.
Venus says, I would rate it as more than encounters. And he says, as a sovereign entity, the company engages in diplomacy with many different polities. House Dator has recently been appointed by their wise chancellor as the new ambassadors to United Mining. She says, that's right, House Gartok was not providing results. The council has decided to handle them for now. So
Yes, I
the
do
executive
believe
here
you
gets
are.
to deal with me.
Yes, I do believe you are quite skilled at handling relations with humans.
She smiles.
I raise an eyebrow at you, like, holy damn, did you just say that?
She says, if I have as much luck as I have had in the past, then perhaps United Mining has a future in the Empire. And she kind of gives a loud laugh as the executive says, I think that is a premature assumption, but we are always looking for beneficial partnerships.
She is too.
Yeah, the Vulcan just sort of looks at the
Oh,
two of them. Good.
we had a whole Pon Far episode, guys. Come on.
Um, she just looks between the two of them and then says, "Well, I don't see how your relationship with the Klingon Empire concerns us in the immediate future. Um, unless, of course, you, as ambassador from the Klingons, have an interest in Thalassite as well."
She says, I'm unfamiliar with that material, but if it has economic, industrial, or military value, then I perhaps will have to look into acquiring some.
You just arrived here recently there, Ambassador?
She says, somewhat arduously, I may say. The Chancellor gave no dictates to us on our arrival, but you could say there were those in my house interested in arriving here by verified civilian methods rather than other methods which I may have preferred.
Nothing with
He kind of she looks at you like you should know what she's talking about, and it's barely related to what she said.
I give a little
Fact.
nod at her.
For the benefit of you, Momentum, and the audience, I will give you an insight command, difficulty 2.
I'll throw a momentum on it, why not? Hey, I got it.
Yeah, if she's here, then her right hand, the Klingon who was disguised as a Federation, as a Starfleet officer, and has somewhat oddly, since your previous meeting, decided to continue looking like a human out of her own personal preference. Shiva. If Vina is here, Shiva must be here somewhere, and that statement all but confirms it. And that whether or not you value it, she has impressed upon her Zhou enough to travel in a way that maybe doesn't exactly keep with your agreement, but seems like an attempt to do so without denying, without leaving the service of her Zhou. Because she isn't doing anything in Federation space, but she did have to travel through Federation space to get here.
Could I ask you for a tiny bit of favor from you, Ambassador?
She says, you certainly are capable of asking.
Out of all politeness, and out of friendly goodwill, I just want to extend my greetings and salutations to the Lady of House Gempak, and just tell her Ensign Artana says hello. Nothing major. I do it myself, but I think that would not be conducive to diplomatic relations and the present mission for either of our sakes.
Revere kind of mutters under his breath, God, more Vulcan mating rituals?
She says, well, I do not have anyone in my service with that affiliation. Unless you mean a former member of House Shimpak, which I have accepted into my house.
Ah.
Wait, is this
Shiva.
is this the same person?
The one I nearly had a shootout with, yeah. The one I warned
Yeah.
that if I see her again, I'm gonna kill her if she's in Federation space.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
She's just saying that she's no longer that. Right. Arton already knew that that person
Yeah.
was on the outs with House Shimpak. It's just that she's been adopted, basically.
Yeah.
She says, if I have, I'd have to check which of my personnel are attending me. If Hod Shiva was on my transport, I will inform her. Though, as a newly minted Dahar master, I doubt someone like that would have Federation associations.
Let's just say it's more personal matter than federational.
She says, unusual. Klingons have no hatred towards attachment, but I understand it that Vulcans do. And that probably draws eyes from half the room. But she nods, and Tagar adjourns y'all's little meeting. Invites the ambassador to his office.
I'd actually like to get the guy's attention quickly before he gets too far away from us.
He'll say yes as he's going into his office.
Pardon me. Again, another bit of personal business. Could I request access to some personnel files? There's an old friend of mine from Nalhar I heard came out this way, and I wanted to see if they worked here or not. Nothing about this whole deal. I just happened to hear they were here, so I didn't want to be poking around without your permission. I know companies hate that sort of thing.
I thank you for your restraint and understanding that some do wish privacy.
Oh, of course.
And for exactly that reason, unfortunately, I must deny your request.
Even if I just want to say hello to a friend? Oh, I mean, yeah, he might be dodging things and up to no good. I mean, that's what happens sometimes when people change names. It happens all the time.
He says, if an associate of the company wishes to be spoken with, they are likely to reach out or provide the required information, but the company prides itself on the protection of its employees from the eyes of those that would obstruct them.
Oh, that's
as he
friendly.
no role. He's trying to tell you you're in a uniform, so I'm not going to tell you anything.
I might remind you, sir, I'm a communications officer, not in security and law enforcement.
You're still a Starfleet officer, though, which means you're an officer for foreign military asking.
Well, he doesn't know the ins and outs of Starfleet necessarily. I'm trying to.
But I mean, half of this is subtext, so he can say that, like, he can try to bring the subtext to text.
Yeah.
Executive Tagar says, I do not think your occupation bears any impact on the issue. But you may leave a inquiry with the personnel at the front desk.
Oh,
If this person exists, they might send the notification.
oh, that's mighty kind of you. Thank you very much.
He gives a forced smile and retreats.
Steady
Yeah, the
stare as
second
evil. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The second the door closes, Solora says, I don't like this. I try not to act on gut feelings, but the presence of a Klingon ambassador, especially that Klingon ambassador, does not spell good news here.
Well, mining companies make quite a bit of credit and trade, and when they don't have Federation Starfleet protection, well, you take the business you can get. I'll hard to do that way back when. So I can't see how it's any different for United Mining, but we need to. The way to sway these people is to sway the same way you swayed Nalhar. Make yourself the better deal.
I
Mind you.
understand that, but I'm afraid they are going to nickel and dime us, to borrow a human expression, while there are many lives on the line. I just hope they will be reasonable about this, and we will settle any further problems with them at a later date.
Oh, I mean, Captain, you can expect them to extract the best price they can get out of the Federation, particularly if they know how desperately we might need this material. That's just the way these outfits work.
I understand that is how capitalists work, but they should be willing to understand there is a difference between making a profit on dilithium sales and making a profit on attempting to squeeze people currently dying of plague. And if
Captain, are
they
you
are,
sure you understand how capitalism works?
the captain nods her head and says, "You've made your point."
Besides which, infinite diversity, infinite combination, and all.
Insight Security Diff 1 for Aratana
Oh.
as something that was mentioned by Joditor sticks in your mind and bears further thought.
I'll throw momentum at it. Why not?
One momentum gained. Do your ears have a replay ability?
No, but my earpiece would.
Then you double check something you heard and have your earpiece replay the audio from that conversation. What seemed like unimportant gloating on behalf of Dator, that she now has a Dahar master in her service, something you are to understand requires a high level of requires some powerful process to take place. You don't know the full process, but your cursory knowledge of the security the security briefs from during the war, they know that it might require a regent of the emperor. It might require the head of a house, several heads of the house. There's some amount of very powerful people that have to assent to such a title. So at first you think, oh, she's just grandstanding, and then you think about it. The actual brief was focused on how the council only approves the unimpeded. They sometime, but rarely, allow Dahar masters to work unimpeded on missions they're given, with basically with no rules to the mission, achieve it however possible kind of personnel. and those personnel generally act on a council level, not a house level. So what seemed like grandstanding is actually probably a misstep in her part in even mentioning that that such a person is here. Realize that this is more than a simple ambassadorial mission.
Or maybe some sort of strange veiled threat?
Like, just letting you know, smart guy. I'll grab my pad and kind of sketch out what I'm thinking, what occurred to me, and I'll hold it out to the captain, and then I'll kind of underline mind audio sensors here.
Understood. The captain will just give a nod and she'll say, let's hope that the doctor makes his mission quick and that we can return to the safety of the ship. As I imagine the three of us are walking back towards this main room.
Ah. I'll stop by the front desk though, because I have business.
Yep. You go to the front desk, kind of standing, waiting to inquire about the person you're looking for, and there's kind of an intense, focused look on the worker's face, and kind of a sign of realization kind of comes across her face, and she starts manipulating the console and turns around to this security guard and says, "We have a situation 6 in progress. All lifts compromised. Site 10, sites 1 through 10. Nope, all sites compromised." And kind of a, oh shit, this is the end of the world kind of look from this security guard.
Well, this doesn't bode well.
Yeah, immediately the captain is going to flip open her communicator and say, Revere's likely busy, so she's going to flip it open and say,
It's right here.
sorry, no, Tweer. It's not my fault they gave themselves the same name. She's going to flip her communicator open and say, Captain to Griffin, report.
You hear spotty communication from Griffin until all 4 elevators suddenly arrive with a loud hydraulic actuation, and Griffin stumbles out of one, still trying to adjust her communicator for interference.
Yep. She's probably also got a hand on a phaser. Not like fully drawn, but
Also a box that you were handed.
Also a box. Yeah, no, so no hand
Yeah,
on
probably
phaser.
like under your arm.
She's got a box and a communicator she's trying to figure out.
Yeah, the captain immediately says, report.
Captain?
Specialist, where is the doctor?
Doctor's still down there. He ordered me out with this.
Yeah, okay. Well, the captain looks angered, and then no, she's going to try to stop them before they run off and say what the hell is going on. Well, not in that language, but are they just ignoring and running away?
Presence command. Difficulty 3.
Presence command, focus and rhetoric.
No, this is more just grabbing attention, listen to
Alright.
me than a speech.
Okay.
I'll assist by just kind of like trying to wave at them, like, oh, 1 second, 1 second.
Focus of command and presence. People like to do what I
Yes.
say. Okay. I'm going to give you 1 momentum and 2 threat. Okay, and if we reroll, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 successes. And the difficulty was shocked by 1.
So 4 momentum gained. And she kind of turns about as you grab her shoulder, and she says, "Sorry, please return to your ship and do not accept any requests for transportation."
She doesn't let go of the shoulder, and she says, I am telling you this now, and I will not tell you this again. You are to return my doctor to me immediately. And
Yeah.
she let go.
She
Captain.
says, where's your doctor?
Site 10.
She says,
Oh,
then the only
shit.
thing returning your doctor will be our security forces over maybe days or weeks, or whatever deities you still recognize.
Griffin is
Oh.
going to speak up and say, Captain, I do have more information for you.
Yes, Griffin? And she's going to let the woman go.
They
Well-
continue on.
While all
Oh.
these people are running off, Revere, who has a tricorder and engineering kit and a can-do attitude, is going to try and hack their system and
In an
like,
obvious way of like getting behind the console, or are you trying to do this covertly?
covertly while everybody's rushing around up there and talking, and Artana's in the hallway, and and basically I'm going to try to like make my tricorder a remote
All right.
access device kind of thing.
Because of the time pressure, daring engineering difficulty 3. Sorry, were there other? I know Griffin was trying to say something. Was Aratana trying to say something as well?
Oh. Basically,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, amateur cryptologist.
Yes.
Okay, innovative engineer.
No.
Okay, that's one free hit anyway. So time's at 9:15. I'll hold off. Okay, so I will give you 2 momentum and 1 threat for bold and 4 dice. I don't think Hail Mary passed jury rigging for a focus.
At increased complication.
I'll take the risk. Just 1 bump.
Yes.
Yeah, I had jury rigging on my build last week.
There we go.
So I think you got the diff down to 2, so that's 4 momentum gained.
We're maxed out.
All right, and I will let you ask questions in a second.
Okay.
As Artana, you follow them. They actuate the door, and you see Executive Tagar already coming to the door, and he says, "What is the situation?" And they say, "It's a situation 6. All sites compromised. All elevators secured to the surface. All personnel under coercion and those under duress are all trapped down below." And he says, so that'll leave approximately 5% of the security forces in each site. and the other remaining auxiliary personnel in the barracks, which have been relocated to Site 15. He says, and I evaluate security personnel are perfectly distributed for defeat in detail and total annihilation. He turns quickly around and he says, your arrival is fortuitous, Joe. I accept your offer of security personnel at the agreed upon exchange rate. And she smiles, and I will give insight command difficulty 5, because Artana has met with this person before, but you weren't really involved in the personal conversations and dealings with her. That was more of a Solaris thing. But you know you've heard some things about her, so you might be able to get a read.
Constantly watching fire for hidden enemy or danger. More the latter than the former.
No, because it doesn't really represent a danger. It's debatable, but it's definitely not a right now enemy or danger. It might not even be a this episode enemy or danger if it turned out to be one. So I would say no for right now. They're more neutral, and something bad could happen to other people, but not you. So I'll lean on the side of saying that it's kind of neutral to you at the moment. It might be important though. I would accept stoic in danger though as a trait.
So pull it down
To have the
3.
wherewithal to focus on small detail while everybody is highly focused on the small things right in front of them.
All right, I will buy a couple dice with that, because I believe that pulls it down to 3 because it's a rate of 2 ability. Insight command, was it?
Yes. Was that all momentum you spent?
Yep. I'll let that drop. Backup plans,
Okay.
I'll gain a momentum back because I failed the test.
No, you succeeded. It was... Oh, no, you're one short.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. There's more to this situation than meets the eye, but it's too chaotic to know what the game being played here is.
Mightn't I... sorry, go ahead.
Actually, before you spend too much momentum, I should return to Revere real quick for him to ask any questions from his infiltration.
Okay. Don't know that I had any questions particularly in mind. I just wanted to get access to some things.
And what did you want to do with that access?
Well, okay. I wanted to I want to give like executive level access and permissions and authority to, let's do me, the Captain, Artana, and the Doctor if I have time. If not, then the Captain and...
You can do it to the person who holds this tricorder, but there's nothing about Solaris that she has, like she's not a user in the system.
Right.
and,
That's
and
that's
the
what I
computer
mean.
doesn't recognize her. So without going through the lengthy process of like setting all those people up, it's probably going to be easier just to do the person with this tricorder.
Okay, so that's okay. It's because that would take too long. Okay, yeah. Let's. I would like to
So
do
that'll
that.
be
An advantage.
2.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the trait root access.
Okay. What is a level 6 or what is actually happening here?
Computer. So those are 2 different questions.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I want to translate what a level 6
Okay, because
incident is.
for that question, I will tell you what it is, not what this situation is, right? Like
Okay. Yeah. Then I would rather know what this current situation is. What's happening?
Okay, then for momentum, all of the elevators are on security lock, meaning
Right.
they are only restorable by executive level decision.
Mm-hmm.
And all security personnel have been ordered deployed, although you can see that of the 20 deployed teams and the reserve personnel stationed at the barracks, last command updates suggested or indicate that only 3 of those teams are still have operating personnel, and those are down to single digits of personnel each. And those are at sites 4, 8, and 10. Sorry, not 10, 4, 8, and 12.
Do I have a full map of the facility and mines and
That
whatnot?
would be another momentum spend.
Okay, does anybody mind?
I'd say rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
this is
yes,
the
you do.
this is-
Excellent. I like mutter under my breath, Captain. I have access to their systems and the elevators. We can move freely, but we probably need to do it quickly.
yeah, but while you were doing that, Griffin, what were you going to say? For context for what Solaris knows.
Griffin was going to first off hand over the box that the doctor gave her, and then say, "Captain, it appeared to me as I was leaving that there was a labor dispute, gone violent. Definitely indicates to me that there's some high amount of worker suppression, given the data I was able to compile on their logistics. It might also be forced labor. Unsure."
Understood. What is the status of Dr. Tweer?
Unknown, ma'am.
Why did he not leave with you?
I don't know. I took him out of the immediate line of fire. He did have a disruptor being leveled at him. Then I put him into cover. He handed me the box and ordered me out of there.
Understood.
Last I heard, there wasn't any ongoing disruptor fire, but I don't have any information from after that.
Okay.
I can tell
And-
you that transporter signals won't penetrate that far deep into the planet, and my communicator didn't work until I was almost up here as well.
Aratana, what do you estimate to be the success rate
Aratana
of...
is not available.
Oh, right, because he was listening. Okay. Revere, is there any way to, through your computer link, is there any way to observe camera systems down there? Or any other sensor equipment?
Yeah.
Insight, security difficulty 0.
Oof. Okay. I'll just roll flat. Huh.
2 momentum gained. All of the security systems have first been remotely deactivated and have since not returned via remote call, suggesting further hardware deactivation. There are
Yep.
some systems in the area of the teams that are the security teams that are still operating. So you are able to get a quick view of a couple of firefights before those systems go down as those teams become inactive.
So these are not, whatever's happening is not limited to area 10.
No, you already know that oh no. Sorry. It is not. It is every site.
No joy, Captain, at least where the doctor is concerned. It looks like there may be a general uprising going on. They've taken out the cameras first electronically, and then as pretty quickly, it looks like physically as well. But I do have a full map of the facility.
Understood. Attempts to transmit that along with an update towards the USS Andromeda.
Did we beam down or did we fly down? Did we land?
You had to land.
Okay.
Oh,
The ship is
okay.
on the surface. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it a big deal to transmit that data?
No, not from here.
Okay. Yeah. Done.
He's going to. Go ahead.
Back to Aratana. You can say what you were going to say.
Executive, I might have a suggestion as to assist with your current crisis, if you would hear me.
He turns to you, giving you his attention for a fleeting amount of time.
I once served in the Colonial Security Services on Naha 4, and I am familiar with, shall we say, labor disputes in mining and close quarter situations. I may be able to persuade my captain to offer assistance in this time of crisis, although I will admit there is a personal venture in that one of our officers of the ship is there, so I have a personal duty as a fellow officer to attempt to intervene anyway. But I think that we are more than qualified to assist you in this matter with the things available, if you will let me offer your hand to the captain.
He says, and he turns back to the Klingon and he says, no contract has yet been signed. And competing offers are acceptable. She kind of sneers. Give me an opposed presence security as he weighs you versus Joe Detour. You don't think he's about to completely accept your offer, but he might accept your offer for the area that the doctor is in.
Yeah.
Though she's not interested in giving up even that inch. which has kind of turned her into an enemy, allowing you to use your hidden danger because it's now somewhat relevant.
I might. Well, whether I don't know how much this might affect the roll or not, but Aratana might offer.
You get the reroll.
Yeah. No, the thing I was going to add on is Aratana would be willing to even just outright say, "I'm not here to thieve any glory from a noble house. I'm here to do the right thing for the people down there. If you were doing this, if we're working the same direction, I don't see why we need to be competing at all."
There's something you're unsure of. Actually, I will allow you, though you may not wish to, a insight security increased to div 6 because of previous failures. There is a reason that she's not interested in working with you, even if it doesn't cost her anything financially. And it must have something to do with the presence of Shiva. So with your because you have to contemplate this at this time, I'll still take Stoic in danger, but that only gets you down to div 4.
4, yeah. I'll throw momentum at it. And give you 2 threat for an extra die. Might get lucky. Nah, I'm gonna have to let. I'll throw that you as threat. I won't complicate the matter.
Okay.
So I'll get a momentum because I failed again.
She's playing an angle here, but you don't know what it is, and it has without knowing what's holding this back, you can't avoid but her see this as something you're doing in opposition to her.
Yeah.
And you don't know why she's being so obstinate, but you feel like you have the threads. There's something more here.
Who's the defender here, her or me? For the actual roll.
She is, because she made the agreement first, so she's the one who has the most to lose.
Okay, so wait her roll. Problem is, me, the player, has the idea, but Aratana, the character, doesn't have a good reason to know what he knows, what I know. Because we're in the wrong time period. We don't know that much about Klingons right now. Other than Ugg Smash and they shoot at us.
What more do we need to know, really?
You don't even see them
I was
as
gonna
like.
say, that sounds like 90% of Klingons in any time period.
Yeah, but we actually know
You
what the
even
cultural
view them
underpinnings
as,
of the
like-
Ugg Smash.
Yeah, we only understand that they're kind of crafty and trickstery. We don't even know the like full extent of the Klingon honor system yet.
Like, yeah, we hear them say it from time to time. They seem to be very warrior focused, but a lot of things. There's lots of ways to be warrior focused.
I almost meant threat, but she's acting hostilely. She's going to spend from her personal supply.
Ugh.
How'd you know there was a Baker's Canyon review?
There's
Uh,
always a Beggar's Canyon.
It's true.
she's going to spend 3 to use the value. Our house cannot suffer failure. as
Well, you say
they
that.
have they have been on the back foot for so long because of the getting trapped with the Fisher, that they are having to scrap and fight for every inch within the council. So she's particularly poised not to give up on a single thing. And then her remaining threat on dice, and she will use the focus intimidation. As it is hard to feel physically safe around someone so imposing.
I agree to her plan. Why? She scares me.
I agreed to her plan because, yeah, I literally don't want to be in the same room with her and tell her no. Oh, sorry, I rolled one too many dice. So that is
wow.
one,
Trying to cheat. See how it is.
3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hits.
That's not better.
As Aratana again finds a way to pick a fight with a powerful character and entice them to spend everything they have. It's not like this was done to a Romulan just 2 episodes ago.
Or last week.
Yeah, that's why provocation's a good way to beat sometimes.
Last week was easier because Aratana picked a communication and torpedo fight with the, or at least a communications fight with the with the Legate. That's why he wasn't available last week. There was no one as powerful as the Legate that y'all dealt with last week because y'all picked a fight with him first. Y'all have a way of eliminating important people before you start fighting mooks.
Say that like it's a bad thing.
She's not doing it to me. She's doing it to him, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Well, so, this is between y'all. He's the proxy, right? So what were you unsure of?
Oh, well, actually on that line, I was considering one of the talents is Dauntless. I was thinking of buying I was trying to find a talent that I might buy for this role, but a lot of them just kind of turned into stuff that wasn't terribly useful to me. Dauntless just straight up is whenever another character attempts to intimidate or threaten you, you may suffer 2 stress to ignore the attempt. But that doesn't work in this context because me ignoring her threatening me doesn't mean anything if he just says yes. He's the one that's in danger, not me. Because the way he gets out of danger is saying yes, and he doesn't.
Yes, then you're right. I will say that wouldn't be helpful because you're not being intimidated. It's between can she intimidate him more than you can kind of speak a clear like economic reason, right?
Yeah. I actually think I'll try to invoke my value of a Starfleet phaser as a weapon to save lives, not take them. In the vein
you have an ability she doesn't, so I'll take that. In fact, he's hyper aware of that. He's been trying to get your weapons.
Yeah. I believe
there's some reason the Federation doesn't want to give them, though.
Well, being involved with a known criminal syndicate tends to sour the water.
Yeah. Well, those tight sons of bitches wouldn't even get it to the free information sphere, assholes.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if that exists yet.
It does because they existed before the Federation.
Oh, okay.
But they have kinetic weapons. They're far more goodwill anyway. Just shoot them in the leg. It's fine.
They have kinetic weapons that are 100 years older than what they used to have. They're conquering space with muskets right now.
Muskets and slime.
Warning.
Muskets and slime.
Frontier. Sometimes Force.
They're conquering
Force.
space with slime.
Hashtag name of my next role playing game.
Directive.
I was just
Frontier.
going to say muskets and slime sounds like an NCTTRPG I would buy
Right.
and then never play.
Huh.
Right.
Man.
I have not used this before since I changed it. Huh. Oh, I've used
You
it
can
now.
call back to the episode in which it was changed.
Yeah. Did I call back to this one? This was the episode of A World Without War.
I don't think you could call back to it unless you've used this value before. Because the only way you could call back to an episode in which you changed a value is with the changed value, because you don't have the old one to call back anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the one that's changed.
Yeah.
That's what changed. It used to be I do not draw my phaser unless it's to put you down into
But-
a Starfleet phaser.
What was the context?
Uh,
I'm looking at a world. Oh, okay. A world
Oh.
without war has to be the first time y'all met this. So on the face of it, yes.
well, that a
Yeah, a world without war that's when the House to Tour showed up the first time.
Well, that worked out. I will threat 2 momentum. Threat 2 momentum and 3 more threat for a full mint. So 4 threat to you. Sorry, I was doing the
Yep.
math on the wrong side of it. None of my focus really applies. I'm not doing plans here. I'm just being a straight up. I'm better at. I think I can do the job. No. Unless you take hand phasers, but that's a stretch.
No, I wouldn't take that.
I wouldn't either. You know, presence security to convince him, or command, either way.
Present security. Y'all are arguing who's more capable of leading a security force.
Ooh, could I? Now I have the theory. Could I try to spin hand phasers in? Basically, I detail out the exact, not the specs, but like the performance of phasers and how I think it will work way better than disruptors will. Like the phasers are a much easier thing to use in this situation than Klingon disruptors are, and we can prove it to you.
No, because his primary worry isn't weaponry. That's like a bonus.
Oh.
His primary concern is that your ship doesn't have the personnel.
+2.
I believe that's 6 hits.
4, 5, 6. That's 6 so far, yeah.
That's a tie, which I think means as attacker you win.
Yep.
He says, you make a convincing argument. Joditor, I must request an alteration to our agreement. I will ask Starfleet to demonstrate their capabilities on Site 10, while the other 19 I will rely on your forces. And she seems pretty incensed, but knows that it is difficult to change Vulcan's mind once made. And says, I will agree to that, but no further alterations, as she kind of pushes a pad into his chest, and he somewhat annoyed, which he has to be extremely annoyed for you to see it on his face, signs the agreement and then signs it and says there, and I will need your Commodore to sign this, and he takes another pad from his desk and hands it to you.
I'll grab it and quickly and nod at him, and then just being polite, he actually nods at her because he knows he's horning in, and it's like just to sort of apologize, sorry, and then carries on. Commodore? I think I have a way to get us down to Site 10, but I can't do much. Looks like the Klingons are going to be doing cleanup in the rest of this labor dispute. But we do need to make some sort of agreement to... And here's what the exec handed to me, ma'am.
She'll look at the paper. What does the paper say?
That in exchange
Eid plebnista.
for 100,000 tons of thallosite, you agree to use Starfleet security forces to secure Site 10 of the United Mining Cadorn operation, and subdue any violent actors and turn them over to the security of United Mining.
Not the first time I've dealt with labor disputes before, and I think Starfleet has a better chance of getting more people out of this situation in better shape than they entered it, plus our doctor for that much more.
You should know
nods
the
her head.
dispute's already gone violent. I've been seeing firefights. Things aren't going well for the company's security forces.
That's why they're calling to us and reaching out to whoever they could. If we had a bigger ship, I might be able to convince them to let us handle the whole thing, but that wasn't happening with what we have.
Revere will type out on the tricorder, exactly what capabilities this thing has and that it has executive level access to the systems, and hand that to the captain with a significant look at Artana and say, you'll need an officer to coordinate things from the ship and to get the security teams organized and on their way. I'll take care of that, Captain. 'Cause
Understood.
It's getting close to my hard stop.
All right. Yeah.
And Revere, having delivered the tricorder into her hands, will head back to the ship.
All right. Yeah, she's going to say, Ensign Aratana, with your combat proficiency and Specialist Griffin, with your status as the only as the only crew aboard the ship who has been down there before. I am ordering both of you to take part in the away team, and she's going to call Revere and order him to send down all of the security division's personnel, all three of them, and with body armor and is it type 3? That's the phaser rifle,
Yes.
Yes.
right? Yeah, and
type
all
three
three of them with
rifle.
body armor and type 3s, which I think is going to be a lot of threat.
Actually,
This is how Revere survived.
I believe that would be 3 threat.
Okay.
You only pay escalation once.
You pay escalation once opportunity for each person.
And since you don't have any momentum, it will
Mhm.
actually be an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, an additional 6. So that is 9 total threat.
Captain?
Oh, and I did not include that for Aratana or Griffin. Are they having equipment brought?
Yeah, I think all three or the other two should have personal phasers and armor. And you know what? I'm gonna go too. So give me a type 3 and body armor too.
You should have executive level override capability on everything that's locked down currently, plus
Okay.
maps.
Come on, I need 2 more pieces of equipment.
Uh-huh.
Um.
Well, you might get slightly less because Griffin
Phaser
is
grenades.
Yeah, for sure.
Because why?
Because Griffin is going to say to the captain, Captain, I would like to lodge formal protest against any orders regarding the violent suppression of the workers here.
Nods her head and says your protest has been taken under consideration. I do not like the idea of suppressing them either, but you must remember there are hundreds of millions of lives on the line, and we are better labor mediators than the Klingons.
Besides which, specialist, my plan is to talk these people over before it turns into a shootout. This much firepower is to even the numbers. But I would recommend we don't open up with a Vulcan hello. I look over at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, as everyone in the room, and including Griffin, are hyper aware that that matters of conscience are normally difficult to deal with and complex when in a uniformed service, but become so much more difficult to deal with and complicated when a priority one order is given.
Yeah,
If
like I
Solores-
think Griffin's fairly aware here that she can't actually like
Refuse, but
refuse this,
Mhm.
but she's doing as close as she can.
You're acting
Don't get
within
me
the
wrong,
law.
I would love to order security officers to arrest the leadership and free the workers, but I also don't want to get into a shooting war with the Klingons over this. So, and also that would get us all court-martialed. But yeah, once we're all equipped, we're gonna
before you
head
go too
down
far,
because
hold on. Breaks.
Mhm.
One thing for in case the GM spent too much, I wouldn't have need to buy body armor because you can only have one type of armor anyway. So I already have my
Okay.
personal shield.
So I take that one back.
awesome.
Well, one and the opportunity cost for the armor as well. Well, it's just one, isn't it? Never mind. Shut me.
No, it is just one. Yeah,
Never mind.
no threat. No, escalation wasn't very escalating. It was the lack of momentum.
Yeah.
Which for security personnel, normally I'd be inclined to waive some of that, but the rapidness of the situation calls for all
Mhm.
the normal costs.
Yeah, and she's going to say, everyone get on the elevator and make it understood that no one is to start firing until I give the order.
All right. Scene change as we go back in time a little bit.
Oh,
Things are adjusted and moved. Proletariat tried to win back their freedom.
Doctor, your first attempts at mediation were met with disruptors and get a move on.
cool. Yeah, that tracks.
You found yourself with your communicator, phaser, and tricorder taken as prizes of war, perhaps stolen, depending on your point of view. And for the first time in an hour or so, as you are sitting next to the other prisoners who, with the miners' understanding of biology, have easily been muffled, had their ability to speak restrained, but they seem not to have understood how to keep you from speaking without, I guess, like wrapping something around your beak, so they just didn't. So you've not been restrained in that way, but you haven't had anybody to talk to, because they were.
Oh. Oh, like they were all like bound and gagged.
Yeah, except it
They
seemed
couldn't figure out how to do it with
Yeah,
me.
a gag word.
they weren't sure. As
I mean, the way you
the
do it isn't too hard. It's you wrap it like vertically around the beak.
Yeah, well, they didn't figure that out.
university graduates, they are not. On a planet with birds, did they grow up? No.
You're probably the first of your species they've ever seen in their entire lives.
Yeah, they're kind of taking it on faith that you're a thing that exists. Um, uh,
Jeez.
so
And not a
they lead.
combination of animatronics and puppetry and a guy in a suit, which you definitely are not.
The lead digger, Hasna, comes over and says, "Well, Doctor, I think it's time we figure out your value and how we can get you back to your people and a suitable reward to us for returning you safely."
You cannot put a value on lives saved.
I've been taught how to put an exact value on saving lives. It's generally 17,000 credits for each foot mined to save them. In your case, you're looking at a sum that I do not think even United Mining could afford.
Well, I didn't know that Aurelian medical specialists were in such high demand.
Certainly, medical specialists who are working on the cure for a disease that is ravaging their planets are. That is what you claimed.
I see. So that's what this is about.
Not what this is about, but you present a means to an end. Hopefully an end that provides a ship or phasers, maybe some other types of supplies. I'm not particularly picky on what price is paid for you, just in that the amount is fair.
And what is to stop you from increasing the price? Moving the bar? Just because?
As I understand it, in negotiations, the person with the disruptor has that option always. It's the person without the disruptor who has to worry about that.
Ah, so you are a bully then?
She says, everyone who's alive is, or they're somebody else's property.
Dr. Tweer looks at his fellow captives.
She kind of looks over at them and says, what, are you concerned about them?
I'm concerned about all life.
She kind of walks over to you and says, well, I have a few people here. We could do this like they do on the judgment program.
I'm afraid I am not familiar.
It's entertainment,
I
but
assumed as much.
you have one person called the judge who makes the decisions, and you have others who debate on the question of punishment. She points, these three, they were assigned a different path than Digger, but they have as many problems as we do, so I think the judge in their case should be lenient. And then she points to her, but she's been off-world and came back and works for the main office, so I don't think the judge should be lenient in her case. What would you do if you were judge?
I'm afraid I do not understand the nature of the crime.
All manner of abuse and exploitation and violence and theft. The crimes are too many to list, but obvious and undeniable.
Well, that was awfully vague.
Give me presence command to kind of push her off this vengeful line of thinking and questioning.
What's the diff?
Opposed.
Oh, cool. God,
She
thanks,
wants
guys.
you. She wants to push you to make a judgment you definitely don't want to make.
Composure focus.
Yes.
Good for all that's gonna do me. All right, take 3 threat. Guess we're doing this. I have no momentum to spend. So do I roll first?
The defender does, whoever that may be.
Yes, you're the defender.
Okay, cool. This is gonna suck. I'm not a particularly persuasive bird.
She will spend some personal threat.
Oh, cool, awesome. Oh, cool, awesome.
5. So three
There's
momentum
no,
gain. 3
yeah,
threat gained.
there's basically nothing I can do to.
Hey, look where we made it. She starts to get uncomfortably pushy. And you feel like you are being pushed towards being judge, jury, and executioner for someone here.
Uh-huh.
And then a familiar figure appears.
Oh dear. No. No.
As loudly boasting, Hod Shiva of House Tator enters with several workers and says, "That's it. Site 10 and 11 are finished. I told you it would not be that complicated. And there's a lot of excitement as she walks over to you and Hasna.
Now, I
Hasna,
didn't know there were going to be Klingons here, right?
no, you didn't.
Cool.
No one said anything about Klingons to you. Although you are aware, you've seen her before. You know
No,
that.
no, 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 no. I know who she is. It's just
Yeah, I was reiterating for the viewing audience that she is Klingon, though she's chosen to appear human.
Mhm.
She notices you as she gets close, and she says to Hasna, "Who's the Starfleet officer?" And she says, Hasna says, "I thought you would be interested." He was inquiring about some useless mineral from Site 10, and we took him as a bargaining chip. Since you're not here officially, I figured it would still be possible to use him that way. And she says, Shiva says, maybe. I can't let you exceed too much of the already agreed upon price, even if he is a valuable officer. And then Hasna says, well, I need to check on the progress of the other sites. I will return to our discussion later, Doctor.
now. So wait, I'm trying to remember the order of connections here. So is she under the Klingon who I helped?
Yes, she was there every time you helped that Klingon, I think. She's been acting as the right hand. I think the first time you helped her, she was less present because she was pretending to be a Starfleet officer.
Right.
The second time, she was the one that brought the unconscious Klingon to you. Like she was the kind of a personal bodyguard.
Okay, so there's no way she does not recognize me then.
No, and she's looked at you and kept from saying anything.
Okay, cool. In which case I'm not going to say anything either, because.
But she will come towards you and kneel down and say, "Doctor, you have created an incredible problem here."
I have done nothing. And I am beginning to think that might just be the problem.
I think the lady of House Tator still owes you something.
Well, I would not be surprised. Although, I don't know quite what the conversion rate is from Klingon honored favors to minor revolutionary justice.
She says, "Well, lucky for you, there's no true conversion in that sense here. she takes out a small ID card and shows you, see, there are no Klingons operating here. This is a Starfleet intelligence operation.
He squints his eyes.
It says Starfleet intelligence has a lot of interest with these people.
What?
Insight, security or command difficulty 2.
What? Insight, security, or command, you say? It's all the same, and they're both garbage. Well,
Yep.
actually, no, I'm sorry. That's incorrect. Insight is good. It's my security that's not great. Difficulty 2. Take a threat. Hey, I generated a momentum finally.
1 momentum gained. Yeah. You're 100% sure she has no connection to Starfleet intelligence. What you
Okay.
are confident is these people don't know that and would have no way of verifying that. And she lived as a human and convinced others she
Oh.
was a commander in Starfleet for almost a decade.
Oh,
During a
God.
war.
Right. Right. And now she's literally able to play both sides of this minor dispute by
Yes.
by pretending to be Klingon or human as needed.
And here she's being a Starfleet intelligence operative, or playing one at least.
Ah, yes, of course. Starfleet
So
always helps its own, doesn't it?
you see the difficulty. I personally have no vested interest in the price on your head, but they've called my bluff. And I now have to be interested in the price on your head. And luckily for you, my lady would be very disappointed if I did not extend her gratitude to you. She says, so how do we get you out of here?
I do not know. I do not know what the status is above ground, and even less so, I do not know the extent of the machinations down here. I am a physician. I am no negotiator. But I imagine that the rest of my crew is formulating a way to get me back. You may be able to do something with that.
She says, she is obviously in opposition to you in many ways, so I will spin threat.
Of course.
As she takes out she's basically buying a piece of equipment. She takes a small device out of her of her uniform and says, "How about I honor Lady Detour's debt to you with a Starfleet deep space emergency transmitter."
I would appreciate that. I would be amenable. Yes, I generated a momentum, Aratana. Although I am a physician and no engineer, so I do not know how well such a transponder would uh, penetrate from this mine.
Well,
Uh,
lucky for you, I do know.
oh,
You would have to be as far away as the First Federation is from this world for them not to detect the signal.
oh, lucky me.
She says, "There is still a difficulty in repaying my lady's debt to you. You have learned more about me than I am comfortable with. A decision made easy by the fact that you find yourself restrained."
I forget. Did I do anything medical on her while she was on our ship? I helped a
Yeah,
lot
you
of.
saved her life the first time you
Okay.
met her.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
first ended up in your med bay because of the violent decompression when y'all boarded the Klingon ship the first time,
Well.
where Aratana's like narrow thinking and everybody's good rolls kept y'all from like
Mhm.
having a bunch of people die.
Yeah. Okay. In which case, he's gonna look up at her and he's going to say, "Well then, I suppose I can put this to you one way. You Klingons have your honor, correct?"
Some would say,
Well, in which case, I should inform you that among medical professionals, at least where I come from, uh, we have a similar sort of honor. And one of the core tenets of that honor is a little something that we like to call doctor-patient confidentiality. And after a fashion, you were in fact one of my patients. As such, doctor-patient confidentiality.
I always found that weird when dealing with the doctor on the Fisher. His Obviously, I had to avoid him to avoid his detection of my deceits. But his interest in maintaining patients' information without command interference always seemed an unnecessary level of difficulty for command. It's so much easier when those ineffectual by medical means can be disposed of rather than languish in their position.
Hmm. I suppose we don't see it that way. But
In this
whether
situation, I think that's good for me.
I was going to say, um, in which case you can assume then that I will have the same outlook on the matter as the doctor on the Fisher.
Hopefully for you, you're better in a vacuum.
He looks like he's going to say something and then he doesn't.
Fans after will think the puppet broke in that particular scene, but they don't realize that was actually him emoting.
Yep. Yeah, no, can't survive in a vacuum. Not a pack lead.
Or is he?
Yes, so it wouldn't surprise me if would not surprise me if the rest of the crew of my ship has suspicions about your presence.
She says, well, luckily for me, this incident has been quite successful. I think we may be able to move faster than I had anticipated.
And what do the Klingons get out of this?
She says, Doctor, there are 3 people on this planet who know the answer to that question. Me, the Lady Dator, and now you. You are standing on
A beachhead.
Kandor, the first Klingon outpost inside of the Federation.
Oh, god damn it.
And I will spend 2, 3.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh, it's a lot of threat.
So that threat, I will reveal shortly in another scene. Because there's a lot of threat and little time tonight to spend it.
Well, sorry guys, I think you're about to have to like fight a bunch of Klingons or some shit.
But that was a reveal that I will spend 4 threat to as well to you.
Oh boy. Ooh, that's bad.
And
You think?
Oh, that's really bad.
Next, you'll tell me is that disruptors have escalated the situation completely out of control.
Fucking half of my screen is just the red alert symbol. Is that a good sign?
Yes. If you zoom out, it won't take up as much of your screen.
Oh god.
Yes, if you reorientate the sensors, you can make the the destroyed situation look better.
Yeah, it's all about perspective.
Simply
just
tilt
don't
your
look at
head
your
away from the
problems.
wildfire.
And I will actually spend 4 because this will be another reveal.
What? How many reveals do you have?
There were 2 reveals and 2 reinforcements. So the first reveal was that Doctor, you learned that the Klingons are going to try to take this as a beachhead. Your second reveal is, hey, those guys, you thought, you know what? Maybe they're just the average human here because of the different gravity is slightly taller, but also slightly more muscular. Nope, nope. They exhibit all the telltale signs of a Klingon who has been facially altered to appear human. They're taller, they're somewhat bulkier, and their general proportions. To anyone else, it would be nigh impossible to notice, but you have personally worked on and scanned someone who this has been done to and are intimately familiar with the techniques. So at a distance, you look at this group and you think, oh, she has support. That's one group of reinforcements. I will also spend escalation. So that she and them are heavily armed.
Oh boy. Man, he spent that threat down quick.
I'm trying to see how else can I make this
difficult. Just pull an author, blow up the star. Just get it over with.
No, it's genocides now. He's moved on from stars.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I would say it's worse. But stars do take up multiple
Yes.
worlds, so he gets multiple genocides.
Like 99.99% of stars have no habitable life to be affected by them, their destruction.
That's very terrestrial thinking of you.
Oh my god.
Think of the supernova after
those
effects.
gas giants.
The space whales.
Uh-huh.
Space whales need places to swim.
Osmozoans are going to be so disrupted by this.
Get your science fantasy stuff out of my very realistic hard sci-fi universe. We only deal with ocean whales here and their ability to communicate with space aliens. None of this space whale stuff. You're either a whale or an alien. You can't be both.
Voyage Home disagrees with you.
So you're saying you can't be a whalian?
Oh my
Whalian.
God.
Whalian. Whalian.
What about an alien that's really rich and wants to spend a lot of money to buy stuff from you?
Oh, really pointless stuff? It doesn't matter? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a whale.
GM, please save us.
No, he has to
Or
think of more
don't.
ways to do reversals.
I'm sure he
I
is.
can only do one reversal an episode.
Oh. So you
I
claim.
am going to do another reveal, though.
Ah.
I did not know that you can only do one reversal an episode.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because a reversal is like scene ending, bad stuff. If I'm not ending the scene, right, then that's not a reversal.
You're just revealing more and more terrible things that are happening.
I reveal 1, 2, 3, 4. A new extended consequence, which will probably be relevant next episode, not this one.
Oh, we're still going.
Violent repression. And the situation was stable. There were enough of them to handle the Klingons, but I will spend
God, he had like 50 threat like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I got to the end of the episode with it. What am I gonna do?
Half threat should spend. The GM credo of any 2d20 system, frankly.
I'm reducing the resistance to 0. So next week, y'all will start with a ticking clock. This represents that the initial exercise force that Joe Detour is going to use is going to be overwhelmingly violent, like on-site executions and no prisoners taken, which will solve her problem and the problem of United Mining. Really bad for you though.
It sounds really bad.
And
You don't say.
I can't really do anything with 1 threat, but I can do anything with 4.
They
Where are
always
you
give you
getting
a
the
little
other
more threat.
3?
Sorry, what?
Where are you getting the other 3?
No, I had 5, and I couldn't do. I can do
Oh.
something with 4. I can't do anything with 5.
I see. I'm sorry.
Geez, such a rules lawyer. Aren't those guys annoying? Oh, excuse me, I'm gonna read the
You're one
rulebook
to
real
talk.
quick. I mean, you. There's no evidence that I'm a rules lawyer. Just
How
let
about
me.
your
not-
recordings?
I am not a rules lawyer. I am a rules public attorney. I serve the people, not the state.
A
Oh.
rules public defender.
That's what I meant.
That's called a game master.
No. The game master is the state's prosecutor.
The DA.
So next week we'll start with a trait of Klingon Incursion 2 and the extended consequence track running. As we shift away from Tawir's perspective to Revere's perspective, who gets to enjoy this not being here, but that's okay because it's the end of the episode.
Doppelgangers. The pod people have taken us. Oh no. Disintegrations. Don't mind me.
Oh.
As Revere sits on a mostly empty bridge as people are busy with their tasks about ship and some of the crew has been sent away, the fleet lieutenant casually helping out hears a beep on sensors and goes to look at it, and then quite shocked turns around to Lieutenant Revere and says, "Lieutenant, I have 4 Klingon heavy cruisers on
Oh no.
screen." And that's where we will close out the episode.
Well, personally, I think this is going very well, and the Klingon Empire will gain much glory and honor from this. Starfleet, I'm not sure we'll be around much longer, but for everyone watching out there, thank you very much for watching. For those of you playing and running, thank you very much for doing so, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye. I mean,
Oh God.
Look. Just because we're the Pinkertons
jeez.
helping out a violent army, suppressing and eliminating a minor revolt, does not make us the bad guys. All right.
Look,
Good
listen,
thing you don't
listen.
know this yet, but Tawir knows. I don't think that's how it's going to go next week.
Listen,
Hmm.
it's important to note that these people are not workers striking for their rights, but rather evil foreign secret invaders who have disguised themselves as real real colonists, but are secretly working for the evil government far away that's coming to steal us, okay? Or take us over, okay? That therefore we're allowed to, use violence to suppress them.
Oh, well, thanks for
Star
clearing that
Trek was
up.
never political.
I'm getting out. I'm gonna have to figure out audio because I need the Star Trek fight music because I'm hoping for, though not sure if it'll happen, a one-on-one Aratana Dahar Master showdown.
Oh,
Ooh, yeah.
Time
Ooh,
for
give it to me.
Version 2, the rematch.
Can you two agree to like a mano like one-on-one fight that'll settle the whole fight down here? Because that would save us a lot of casualties.
Only if she can beat me in showing me a good time at my favorite amusement park. Wait, wrong game.
Wait,
Eh.
That's how you settle Pond
What?
Farm, not a labor dispute.